Or did my other one download?
No. Both of our other ones are still uploading.
Okay. Hello, boys and girls. Sorry for that technical difficulty. Apparently, my cache was full. Who knew you had to clear browsing data when you do these things? That is the dumbest thing I think I've ever come across in my life. Like, it's not like I'm storing this shit, you know?
Right?
It's just bizarre. It's just bizarre.
I'm hoping it lets me merge these two files together.
Weird. Well, you should be able to in the back end somehow. Anything that. If not, we just have part 1 and part 2. That's cool, you know.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, so in part 1, we left off with Mike was going downhill, so we could have left you with an uplifting story about how
Right.
I never went downhill. But that wouldn't be true.
Right.
So I think the last thing that I was talking about before, you probably had some horrible awkward silence because Chris was talking to me. And for those of you who listened to last week's podcast, just for the record, the last 3 minutes of the podcast, I'm quite aware that Chris is talking to himself, and I'm not quite sure what happened to my track. I could not find it to save my life. So there's 3 minutes of you talking, and obviously I'm talking to you. And luckily you were telling a story, so it all turned out just fine. But yeah, I'm not there for the last 3 minutes, and I don't know why. There's just ghosts in the machine, you know? We are 2,000
Speaking
miles
of ghosts,
apart.
man, it's my house, dude, because little man has this little remote control car that has really soft wheels, so you can play within the house and it won't damage shit, right? It bounces off walls and stuff. So we're getting ready to take him to school yesterday, and I had it on the end table on the couch, and I remember this because the remote was still on. I had flipped the car over and turned it off, but the remote button was still lit up green. So I pressed it, grabbed him out the door, right? Take him to school. Go to work out, come home after workout. Dogs cowering in the corner like, oh shit, I did something wrong, which, you know. So I immediately look at that table because little man, you know, was kind of chasing Dozier the dog a little bit with the remote control car because he's 4 and, you know, it's funny. So I automatically assume that Dozier, because Dozier's smarter than people think he is.
He's a lab, right?
No, he's a Boxweiler with a little bit of a lab.
Okay.
Yeah. I hate when people text me. I mean, I don't hate when people text me, but when I'm in a train of thought. So I started looking for the remote because I figured he ate it. So I moved his bed. He didn't, you know, because he'll eat shit. He'll like eats tires off little man's monster trucks. Like he'll go into the box and grab one to chew the tire. Little fucker. I can't find the remote. Like, I shit you not. We don't have a dog door, so he didn't leave the house. It is absolutely nowhere. It just disappeared. Now, to back it up, Nikki has these bras they're nude, so it's like, you know, the nude color, right? And so she can't find like 3 or 4 of those. She started telling me this a couple weeks ago as she's going through different things in different rooms. I'm like, what are you doing? So it kind of falls in line with the weirdness of, okay, there's just, we got a ghost or something, because what the fuck, like that. And kid you not, it's nowhere. It is absolutely nowhere. I looked everywhere that we were that morning and all the spaces that we went, because, you know, nothing. He didn't take it in the truck. It's not at his house. It's the weirdest fucking thing, man. So, you know, I got the sage out today and I saged the house after the cleaners left because, you know, it's time to sage the house, man. When a fucking remote like this big disappears, there's fucking something going on, man. So we had this sage we got from California a long time ago. We were supposed to sage the house, so I finally did it.
I got some people that'll tell you some good ghost stories if I can get them to come on the podcast and actually tell the story. So I'll have to talk to them and see if that's something that they're willing to do.
Right on.
I have never.
That would be great. I love talking about that kind of shit.
I have experienced it from the peripherals. People that, well, I'll leave it at people I've known, so that doesn't narrow it down very much. People I've known have experienced it heavily,
So here,
and these people have no reason to lie. So, it's not attention they're seeking, and they don't really tell anyone except the people
right?
that either were there and experienced it with them, or people that they trust a lot. So I don't know if it's something that they want to put on a podcast.
Yeah.
But
So no, dude, absolutely. Because here's a real quick story. Okay, Skylar was little, old enough to talk. I would hear her talking in her room at night. I'd go in her room. She was standing up. Shit, you not, standing up in facing the corner and talking. But she wasn't in the corner. She was. That's. I bet you that's my microphone stand right there. See the Amazon guy?
I do see
Live.
him in the background there.
Yeah. So I went to her room and we didn't shut the door, but it was it was a crack. It was open, ajar. So I pushed it all the way open and shit you not, she's standing facing the corner having a conversation. So I'm like, Skylar, nothing. I'm like, and so I go over there, I pick her up, put her back in bed, tuck her in, I'm like, who are you talking to? Old lady. What? Old lady. Like, okay. And so she had these little nuances throughout her youth where she was at Applebee's one day with Nikki. I'm sorry, not was it with Nikki? Yeah, Nikki brought her to work because we were going out. So one of her friends she's gonna go home with her friend and she was gonna watch her. We'd pick her up afterwards. So I forget who the friend was, but she's sitting at the high top table with Skylar and this friend. Nikki's not there now. Whatever. The phone rings in Applebee's. Okay, like it, 100 times an hour. Exaggerating, but right. The phone rings. Skylar looks at the friend and says, "I bet that's my mom." And bartender picked up Applebee's, and then Nikki, or no, not Nikki's, whoever was, maybe it was Jen. Jen, Nikki's on the phone. Shit like that. She would she's always had that innate little ability to fucking see, The Shining, right? The movie The Shining, The Shining. She has that when she was younger. I think she still has it to a certain extent. Little man, we think, had it when he was like 9 months to 1.5, because he would just randomly look up at the sky and, and just stoically, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? We wouldn't say it, but and then he would just sometimes he would just babble, So that's like, what the fuck is that, man?
Well, kids are so
I love that
susceptible.
stuff because it's legit. They're open.
Yeah, they're
because
innocent.
they're open. Their minds.
Nobody told them that they can't
yet.
see that.
Right. There's nothing. Right. Nothing's clouded their brains at this point. They're just, all they see is what they see and absorb and learn. There's nothing to fuck with what's their openness. It's the coolest thing, man. But yeah, so there's quite a few stories that I could drop about her gift that just, mind boggling. And we followed up with the neighbor, right? Because we were the second owners of that house, and the guy across the street lived there since the previous owners moved. So he's like original owner. And shit you not, he said the lady died in the house. That was her craft room, where the kids' room is, or sewing room, whatever. And she was a fat old lady. And I'm like, there you go. Because Sky was like, just an old lady. Just an old lady. So talking to a ghost in the corner. Yeah, so that's why I saged the house today, because I'm like, motherfucker, a remote, it's gone, no idea where. So now I'm at 48%, so that's good, right? I'm uploading without an issue now.
Yeah, I think you and I both
Did
have
you want
two
to?
files
Is there more?
going,
Did you want to? Okay. Do we want to continue down your path, or did we lose that moment to bring it up another day?
Yeah, we can bring it up another day. I'll start from that point.
Okay.
I'll start from that point another day.
Okay. Well, because Because now when you watch these back, you'll know where you ended the story.
Yes. Yeah, so I guess at this point we probably should give a shout out to all the people that are listening on a regular basis. Do us a favor and spread the word, because we don't like to be a secret. Well, I like to be a secret. Chris doesn't like to be a secret. He's a very open guy, and he'll tell you whatever you want to know. I'm getting better about pretending that the rest of the world is not listening and bearing my soul. So that's more of what I tried to do today. I'll get better about it, and I'll get more fluid with my stories. There's some really I put myself in some very precarious situations that I was reminded today, and that's why I wanted to do this podcast today, that I lived a very interesting life. And because I don't feel that the first part of my life was all that interesting, it was fairly normal. And what I'm living now is fairly normal. I tend to forget that I went fucking crazy for about 20 years. So I did live a very interesting life, and I put myself in some situations that people find very fascinating. So we'll cover that subject matter on another podcast. But I do want to give a shout out to all those people who are diligently listening every week. And Chris has gotten some good positive feedback, and every week I get positive feedback from the people that I either know personally or that contact me on Facebook privately or through the Facebook page. We appreciate you all, and there's no reason to do this if nobody's listening. Him and I could just talk on the phone and we'd have the same conversation. So we truly appreciate you guys out there. Just do whatever you can to help us out getting the word out as far as sharing. That's why I keep putting the word share in capital letters. So,
yes, share.
Yes, that's the only way we can get the word out.
I ghosted you for a second there because I had a yeah, enticement. So, go ahead.
I was gonna say you ghosted me and I left you hanging at the most inopportune moment.
Yeah, it's okay. Dude, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, man. Let's see if that.
No, it makes me chuckle
because Amazon sends a picture. Yep, Amazon. That's the mic stand. So, boys and girls, I have a mic stand. I ordered an old school mic stand that I'm gonna raise my Mac on my desk elevator for next episode. Be sporting the normal thing. So, I did this thing. Well, yeah. We don't have to do this yet, but I did this thing. We did the top 10. I'm sorry, the top 11. When I grew up, like MTV, like was major influence, right? The first time I introduced Tom Petty was Refugee on MTV, right? I mean, Pat Benatar, Cheap Trick, fucking Queen, the Rolling Stones. I think my first real introduction to the Rolling Stones was on MTV. The first concert video I ever saw was Led Zeppelin. The song Remains the Same, right? And then that opened me up like, oh shit, all these bands have concert footage of concerts and stuff. So there was like heavily influenced, and that's kind of like where you were talking earlier about how you didn't want to live a normal life. Fucking dude, I didn't want to live a normal life either. Like I didn't want that 9 to 5 thing. I didn't. That's why I started with wanting to be a writer, and then I went to acting, and that all kind of gravitated towards music because I too. No way. I mean, that's probably why I'm in real estate, because it's not 9 to 5. I just so I never wanted to be in that box. I had the same aspirations you had, and I think we never talked about this shit back then, but that may have been just one of those things that we're both very old souls, I think, and that's just something I think that we internally connected without even realizing it on a conscious level. Because the stuff that you were talking about earlier on the first half of this show before the glitch in the Matrix, I was relating to it 100%. Just just from the musical spotlight and the standpoint of that, and where you wanted to be and what you didn't want to do when you turned 18. I mean, I was out of my house 2 weeks after I graduated high school, man. I was fucking gone,
Me too.
And then I went to 1 semester in college, right? And then and then took a year off, fucked around, and went back. And that's when I was like, oh, I should go to theater, because I did the writing thing the first semester. So I'm like, I'm gonna, do this and do the journalism thing at the same time. And that's when everything just kind of presented itself. And the other thing that you referenced earlier was, you can't look at this as though we're talking to a million people. We're just talking to each other. I think that's the biggest misconception people have when they're doing videos, for whatever reason they're doing videos, for marketing, sales, whatever. And podcasts, don't ever think of it as, holy shit, there's a million people watching this. I've had stuff that has been watched 4 times, and I've had stuff that's been watched 162,000 times. I don't care. Don't give a fuck. I had that gopher video, the gopher adventure on Instagram is like, I don't know, last I looked, 24,000 views. And there's one of our first sourdough. I didn't realize sourdough was a fucking thing. I didn't realize it was a viral thing. I had no fucking
Oh, it's
idea.
awesome.
Because I don't play on TikTok really. Right, but I didn't know it was viral and shit. So Skylar, one of her friends, gave her some starter, and she's like, you guys want some starter? We're like, okay. And that's kind of how it started. Then it was just a matter of trying to figure out if we knew how to if we could do this. So 4th attempt, we did it. But so it's apparently it's all the rage, Mike. Apparently people are making sourdough everywhere, like crazy. So, who knows? but so anyway, so that went so many different places, man. By the way, I pushed mowed my lawn today, and it's 75 degrees and it's sunny.
It's 72 here today. And I guess
Congratulations.
what I'll say about not worrying about who's listening is I know that we are going to attract like-minded people, and that whether there's the 326 people that are on Facebook and however many people are on YouTube and Instagram, however many followers we have, if it's 12 or if it's 12 million, I know that they're going to be 12 or 12 million of the same open-minded, like-minded, cool people that I always gravitate into my life, because that's how I operate. The point that I was going to make earlier about feeling guilty about not making that connection with everyone, I do feel guilty when someone wants to be in my space and I have no good reason to not want them in that space other than there's something about their energy that throws me off. So anyone that knows me, I'll tell you a quick woo-woo story. I feel people's energy.
Okay.
And I know when it's good, and I know when it's bad, and I know when it's chaotic. And the chaotic people confuse me the most because they set my fucking anxiety off like there's no tomorrow. They're either too stupid or, and that's a bad way to put it, they're ignorant. They haven't learned how to be socially acceptable. So I totally feel people's energy. And if you got good energy, I'm going to gravitate towards you. And if you got chaotic or bad energy, I'm going to need you to stay the fuck away from me. It's the way it has to be for me to maintain my sanity.
Yeah.
That's why the list of people I could do the podcast with was so short.
Who else was on the list? Who was on the list besides me?
Me?
Oh, okay. Right. Woo! Right on. That's awesome.
That was it. It's me and you, buddy.
Dude, I'm so glad I made the cut. I'm so glad I made the cut because I was worried, Fuck. Okay, so I alluded to it earlier. Concert videos, because that's how I was introduced to them. And so I asked the Google to put them in the order of all time, the top 11 rock and roll music video concerts of all time based on sales. So it's not necessarily based on because Worldwide Live's not on this list. Fucking love that. That was my first real
Scorpions.
That was the first time. Yeah, but that was my first time. Like when I watched that, that's when I knew I wanted to be that. I don't necessarily think I wanted to be Klaus Meine, but I wanted that. I wanted that for a life. Like I like that. So I think that's a lot why all the video stuff I do, and then the Good News Arizona and the radio show that I did on iHeart, all that kind of stuff is just it's not hard for me because it's something that I chased for so long, and it was everything I wanted to do. I did by the time I turned 30, as we know in my song Vision. It was related. The whole song Vision was based on I kept seeing myself dying when I turned 30 years old. Um, so I was here with you when you were talking about your desires and don't want to be in small town America doing the small town job and shit like that.
Well,
Totally resonated, but I didn't want to talk over you and I didn't want to interrupt you. So
let me put that in perspective for you. So if you think about every job that I had in the music business, I was a guitar player. I didn't sing. I
right,
was a sound man behind the scenes. I
right,
built 2 recording studios behind the scenes. I was a songwriter, guitar teacher, all behind the scenes. You were the voice of the
right.
band. So your whole life has been in the public spotlight in one shape, form, or another, as an actor, as a frontman, as a real estate agent,
Right. Yeah.
putting yourself out there on the internet long before anybody else did, as far as promoting your business
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
doing the shows that you did. You had a radio show. You put yourself out there
Yeah.
and bared your soul. I think you put it best as being vulnerable. The one thing that I did is made myself vulnerable
Yeah.
around you guys and the people that worked for the band and the people
Right.
that were intimately involved with the band. I was vulnerable around those people, and I've been vulnerable around my family to some extent. I'm sure they're learning things listening to
Right.
this, because I have been up to this point a very private person, unless you know me on that level. But it was very
Right.
important for me to get the message of recovery out there, that there's hope, that you can live. People that
Yeah. Oh
know
yeah.
me
And we're
pleaded
gonna
with me
have.
to get that out there.
Mhm. And we're gonna have once Mike's internet is up to today's code. We're gonna have this dude that spent some time in prison discovered his calling while in prison about helping people with recovery. So he's I know him through a family that I adore and love deeply since the 70s. Um, it's through them that I know him, and I don't know him. I just know who he is. I don't think we ever really engaged in a conversation more than 2 or 3 minutes. So it'll be a cool thing to get to know him, and he'll get to know us. I did send him the sober episode, so he gets an idea of what our show's like. So
Awesome.
it'll be fun. So he'll be on sometime in the future. It'll be a good dude. So back to what I was saying, music. So this is a top 11 list of the top rock and roll concerts based purely on sales. It's subjective, right, because of the data, but here's a
Sure.
list of highly acclaimed and commercially successful rock and roll music video concerts that have achieved significant sales. So that was the disclaimer. Number 11, which this was a fucking badass when I was introduced to this band by this, which is live at the Red Rocks, U2's Under a Blood Red Sky. That legit was the first time I was introduced to U2, and it was MTV concerts. They would have
Yep.
those concerts on like Saturday nights or something.
I saw the same
And that
concert.
legit was how I found. Yep, that's how I found U2. So um, there you go, man. We were watching it together, and we didn't even know it, man.
That's a true story. Rock and roll.
the yeah. So the next, I gotta send this little image real quick so this person knows we're styling. Um, Live at Hyde Park, the Rolling Stones. I've never seen that. Have you seen that?
I'd have to look it up. I might have. It doesn't ring a bell. I got to
Yeah,
admit
I
that
don't. I don't. I never saw it. I don't. Yeah.
I have to admit I'm a newer Rolling Stones
Go
fan.
ahead.
Probably within the last 15 years, I really started to appreciate who they are as a band. It was their Live in Cuba, Live in
Right on.
Havana. If you ever have the opportunity to watch Live in Havana, they were the first rock and roll band in Cuba ever, I believe. And I sat down to just watch a song or two.
Oh, to play?
Yeah. I was just going to watch like a song or two because it was on DirecTV at the time, and I was captivated, dude. They sucked me right into their show. You know, I got a nice surround sound system. It's like 1,600
Really?
watts, so it was pretty much like I was at the show. But oh fuck yeah, dude, I got it. Whatever they did that night, I got it. I was like, okay, that's a force to be reckoned with right there. So yeah, do yourself a favor. I'll
How old
look
were
up
you
the
when you
live
saw
and-
that?
Oh, just recently, within the last 5 years, maybe the last 10 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
look on the look
Crazy.
on your phone there real quick and see, or I'll look while you're reading them. Go ahead and read the next one up.
Next one, which ironically is next one is Live in Texas, 75, the Rolling Stones. So for whatever reason, they were there twice on this list. Number 8 is Live at the Rainbow, 1974, which is Queen. That would have been an amazing place to see Queen play the Rainbow.
At the Rainbow?
Right? At the Rainbow, dude.
Holy shit. That's a little club in Hollywood for everyone that's listening that's not intimately familiar with the Rainbow.
Yeah. The Rainbow Room now, I think they call it. But yeah. And then we talked about this before on the show, the Beatles and the instruments and stuff. So Live at Shea Stadium, number 7, from the Beatles, because that obviously they showed that on TV, I think. I don't remember, but I remember we talked about that, how you couldn't hear shit if you were past the second row.
Correct.
You know,
because they had no PA system.
Number 6, which this right. So number 6 is how I was introduced to this band as well. Live at Budokan, Cheap Trick.
Cheap Trick.
Yeah, those Saturday night concerts they did, man, were fucking great. The other one that's not on here, which surprised me, is Journey. Journey was a I had to have been because they played it. So, but yeah, it's based on Cells. That's right. So number 5 is Live at Pompeii from the Mighty Mighty Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd.
Number 4 is Live at the Royal Albert Hall, which, by the way, Alter Bridge played there 3 nights in a row, sold it out.
Eric Clapton.
So this Alter Bridge isn't on the list. I call bullshit. Very good, Eric Clapton, Mr. Slowhand himself.
I love that.
The top 3. What? Yeah, the top 3. This will not surprise you, I don't think. Number 3 is Live at Wembley Stadium from Queen. So,
okay,
you know. Number two was my first introduction to this band as well, which you talked about earlier. The Song Remains the Same, Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah, Madison Square
And
Garden.
then number 1, based on sales, and number 1, based on sales, this resonates beyond belief because 3 chords of the truth. AC/DC, Live at River Plate. Right?
Do yourself a favor and crank that one up real loud, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Live at River Plate.
That concert is a spectacle. That's the only way to describe it. It's a fucking spectacle. Really? Oh, there's like 100,000 people there.
So
it's a soccer stadium.
Okay, so you've seen that one?
About 50 times. Yeah. It's that impressive. That's
Holy
why
shit.
it's number 1.
Yeah. Okay.
It's that impressive.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah. So for the people out there that are listening, if you're unsure if you like AC/DC or not, you go listen to that concert on YouTube, put your headphones on, whatever you have that sounds good, crank it up and watch the concert. And if you're done with that concert and you still don't like AC/DC, I would like to talk to you as to why. I really want to pick your brain. We'll do a whole podcast with you. I promise. All you got to do is send me an email and say, Mike, I watched the whole 2-hour concert and I still don't understand why people like AC/DC, because I have to talk to you. It's a must, necessity. Your head needs to be examined by me and me alone. because that concert
That's
makes you
awesome.
want to just jump up and down. It does. And that's what people do for the whole 2 hours. Every time they catch the beat, man, the whole crowd's just like boop, 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 up and down.
What year was the show that they recorded?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. 2014 maybe. 2008. It was in the 2000s.
Okay, so not too bad.
So the Rolling Stones Havana Moon was 2016. AC/DC Live at the River Plate is 2011.
Okay, so 12 years old. No, 13 years old now.
Yeah. But the key for them is they had the original lineup back together. So Phil Rudd's playing drums, and obviously Cliff Williams is playing bass, and Malcolm's still alive. Malcolm's dead now. Rest in peace, brother. And they were
How
on
did
fire.
He die
man.
again?
Just I don't know. He had health problems. It was natural causes, I believe. They weren't partiers. So that's the other thing for a lot of people to understand is, AC/DC got lumped into the satanic, trying to take over your children kind of people. They couldn't be any more of the nicest human beings to walk the face of the earth. And the reason I know this is because I've watched countless hours and read countless books and documentaries and whatever. And everyone says the same thing. AC/DC's pre-game ritual before they go on stage is they have a cup of tea, and maybe they have a cigarette.
Biscuits, tea and biscuits,
tea and biscuits.
But there's truth. There's right. But see the approach pregame, because we all know how I pregame with shows. I would just pace. Right, I wouldn't. I wasn't amping myself up. I wasn't back then. I wasn't doing vocal warm ups or anything. I just hang out. And then when you hit the stage, it's go time. Just go time. All there is to it. It's time. Put on a show. Do your thing.
Lights come on.
So I think there's a lot to be said for your prep. It's because there's people that go like crazy ass balls to the walls, and then there's people that just do the opposite. As I got further in life and singing, I would start doing vocal warm-ups, which, some musicians are like, you talk all day, your throat's warm, which I agree. But I still think, I always looked at the voice as a muscle, especially after all the nonsense I dealt with. So it's, you have to take care of your muscle like everything else, or take care of your instrument, I should say, like everything else. So I will check out that AC/DC one. That was a cool one. There's some other cool ones, man. That like the Journey one I saw on MTV was good. And they weren't huge yet. They were just Journey, What else did I fucking see?
I'll tell you another one to watch that has become legendary is Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble live at the El Macambo, I believe it's called.
Okay.
It's from about 1982 or 3.
Okay.
It'll blow you away, dude. It sets Stevie Ray apart from every other guitar player in accuracy and tone. His tone on that is just amazing. Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, and you'll know right away, he's coked out of his mind. But he never misses a note.
He was always... Yeah, no, but there's so many musicians, man, go down that path of darkness, we'll call it.
Yeah, the unfortunate part for him is he finally cleaned his life up and then he died in a helicopter crash. So, how ironic.
You don't get on helicopters, boys and girls. Yeah, you don't. Amen. You just don't get on helicopters. If you're at any level of fame, stay off the fucking helicopters. I was never a Kobe Bryant fan at all, but fucking Kobe Bryant had many years left. Fucking helicopter, and it was all the reports I saw on that was it was their fault because they should never been flying. So you don't know, but that he was like, I got to get to this place, man. I don't care. I'm Kobe Bryant. Let's go. That's one of those things where his ego, I think, dictated that pilot to take off, and he shouldn't have.
I
Plain
think
and
you're
simple.
100%
There's no
correct.
reason that helicopter should have flown that way, you know. But he didn't want to drive. He hadn't driven anywhere in years because of the LA traffic, which I get. I can be fucking frustrating, but you'd still be alive today, you know. And now you'll never know, you know. He's got what, you know, how many other kids that don't have their dad now, you know. So it sucks. And and for his friends that she had in the helicopter too, that their parents and, you know, everybody lost in that. And Kobe Bryant's wife, they don't need money. She fucking sued the helicopter company. Well, you know why? Because he shouldn't have been flying. So
Right?
that just sucks. So if you're famous or on the border of becoming famous, or not even so much famous, but just somebody whose opinion is valued and respected, you need to stay off helicopters, because, you know, nothing good can happen from a helicopter ride. Just
No,
saying.
I'm going to heed your advice and stay off the helicopter.
And if you're right, and if you're somewhere in that same kind of echelon of persona, and you're 26 and 11 months, as soon as you hit 27, clean up your act for a year, because we had so many people die when they were 27. It's ridiculous. So just, you know,
Correct.
if you're on that cusp and you're at that age, you know, and you're going to change the world, fucking slow it down, man, at least for a year. Just slow it down. Slow it down.
Yes.
Slow it down.
Everything
Okay,
in
so
moderation.
this is Chris, everything. And this is the Chris and Mike show. This is episode number 19. And I lost
Actually,
a friend of mine from high school.
Hold on.
Yeah,
So,
go,
I hate to interrupt
go.
that moment,
Okay,
but I think
okay,
it's actually
okay.
episode number 18.
Oh, 18, number 18. Oh, that's right, because last week was 17. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right.
You were going to make a very
Right?
powerful statement.
Okay.
So, yes.
Yeah, so we had a friend that committed suicide. Somebody I knew in high school, and we you know, you, like everybody, yeah. Well, thank you. And like everything out of high school, you know, most of you never stay in contact. We did a little bit by the Facebook, the you know, which is the good thing about Facebook and social media. So there was random conversations here and there, and you seeing each other's lives. But understand, social media, you don't know that person. You're just, you have a glimpse into the window of their life. Um, be mindful of that, because all of us that knew him were kind of like thrown back when we found out he killed himself, because he had a little girl. And then they further found out, they were able to get into his phone and realize that he completely had prepared everything. Like, he put all his affairs in orders, and which good for the that side of it, but bad for the fact that he didn't see any other way out other than doing that. So that's that thing that Mike and I talk about all the time. And as he alluded to, we've talked about a little bit. We haven't dove deep into it, but Scott the drummer did commit suicide, and we'll touch on that at one point in time.
Absolutely.
So we were affected by it. You know, there's always, tomorrow's always better. So it's just, you know, just, you feel that way, just don't do it. Call somebody. Somebody loves you. Somebody loves you now. Somebody loves you tomorrow. Somebody will love you when you wake up. It doesn't matter how you are. It doesn't matter what your day's like. It doesn't matter how you feel about yourself. There's always somebody that's going to answer the phone, or respond to a text, or respond to an email. Don't ever feel you're alone. Just don't. There's suicide hotlines. I think you can text 988. I think that's the number. But just, you know, tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow's always better, and it's better with you in the world. That's all I got.
I think the one thing that I'll add to that is, I'm sure Chris has been there. I can't speak for him, but I was at the bitter end many times, and the one thing that kept me going was to think about those people that, whether you think that they love you or not at that moment in time, give that some consideration before you decide that that's the way out, because that's the reason I'm still here talking to you, is I knew there was people that would miss me, and that meant something to me, and it should mean something to you too. So I've been
brother.
where you are, if that's what you're considering. So I'm definitely an open source of, or I'm definitely a source of help if you need it. So I've been there many times. And the thing that kept me from doing it was
Yeah.
I knew there was people that loved me. I'm talking to them. I'm talking to one of them right now. So,
Mhm.
you know, everybody that's been at the level that
Hello.
you're at in my life, I thought about those people, and I didn't want
Yeah,
to put them
yeah.
through that.
Mhm.
And you are putting them through that. It's the people that are left here, to Chris's point. That's why we're
Mhm.
talking about it. Now he's a victim of somebody
Yeah.
not thinking about the fact that life is better with you here. The world needs you in it, or you wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
We all
And
chose
the
to be
selfish,
here.
and Nikki and I talked about it, and yeah, right. And the biggest thing about suicide is the selfish way out, because you're impacting. It's a domino effect. You're done with your pain, but everybody that knows you is just starting. And for the
100%.
young ones, the little ones left behind, that's a stigma they can't erase. They're gonna walk around for the rest of their lives wondering, why did my dad, or why did my mom, or why did my brother, or why did my sister, um, or why did my friend choose to take their life? Life is not. Life is hard, 100%. Mike and I have both been fucking down to hell and back. It's hard. It's not easy. It's character building. It fucking sucks at times. But then you have those moments of glory and pure joy that I think make up for the negative stuff that happens. So just think about what you're doing. Call
I
somebody.
couldn't agree with you more.
Go somewhere. Seek some help. Yeah, go somewhere. Seek some help. It's not the end of the world if the way you're feeling. It's just not. And we think our friend had some mental health issues, um, which is no excuse, but there should have been help for him. And I
Correct.
don't know. I don't know the intimate details, but if there wasn't somebody there that had the ability to help him on that level, that's too bad. And don't be afraid to go to therapy. Like, legit, it's so easy now. You can go on your phone and, like, you see commercials, right? You can Google therapist, and you come up where you can FaceTime a therapist now. I mean, it's that was probably happened from COVID, I would think.
Sure.
So, you know, don't be afraid of that. Don't worry about that. Good timing here too, because my plumber just pulled up. Like, legit, I just saw him pull up.
Right
So
on,
I got
brother.
to tell him not to park where he's parking, because then Skylar can't park her vehicle there.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So
we are going to end
tell him,
this on a
yes,
positive note then.
we are going to end this. Yes, everybody have a beautiful day. Be kind to one another. If you need something, reach out. We'll see you next week. Nothing
Absolutely.
but love, brother.
Love you too,
All right, my
man.
friend.
Peace.
Talk soon. All right, buddy. Peace. See ya.
All right.